Hey friends, what's going on? Give me a couple moments. I'm going to share that we are live. Going to do the watch list build for tomorrow, and I'll be right back with you guys in a couple moments. All right. So, what's going on, everybody? Let's take a look what's happening. We're going to build a watch list for tomorrow. Show you guys here some updates on the markets. And let's take a look what's going on. So, as you can see here, I have a chart of the futures pulled up. And as you can see, there's lots of lines up and down and sideways all over here, right? So if you're new and you're following me here and you don't know what is on my charts, this is what charts will end up looking like, right? Lots of lines and patterns and, you know, horizontal lines, sideways ones, and then, you know, it's trying to find these channels, trying to find these patterns. Incredibly important to learn. So if you're new and you don't know how to draw these lines and find these patterns, make sure you're not trading with real money because you're going to lose it, right? We say it over and over and over again, you're going to lose money if you don't know how to do stuff like this, because everything is about patterns, support, and resistance. So the good news, if you're just joining us, we have courses over here that teach you all of this stuff for free, save you thousands of dollars. You can see candlestick course and advanced candlestick course. This really teaches you patterns. And then you can decide what type of trader you want to be. Do you want to be a day trader, a swing trader, an options trader? But it's all so important to learn. Number one, candlesticks first. Candlesticks tell the story of the battle between the bulls and the bears. And that battle forms patterns. And those patterns form support and resistance. And you cannot become a successful trader without knowing patterns. Bottom line, you can get lucky for a little while, but eventually luck will run out. So as you can see here, price, this is the futures, right? ES was riding, I'm going to show you guys this pattern here in a second here. You can see there was resistance between this 2780-ish or 90 up to 2807 area. And so price is rising, going up to resistance, right? What pattern is this, right? If you don't recognize this pattern, this channel in this pattern, what's up, Todd? How's it going? For those of you guys watching the replay, I'm not talking to myself. I have the chat feature turned on YouTube when I do these videos, so I'm saying hello to Todd. So if you're like, what is that pattern? I don't know what that is. Well, hey, why don't you go over to our courses, go to our candlestick course, and you will see right down over, where is it? Look at all of it, huh? Look at all these patterns. Lots of them, right? Got to know all of these. Ah, that looks like it's a rising wedge. Let's go take a look. So a rising wedge. Let's go over here and see. Huh, that looks like a rising wedge. Ah, okay, here's the lines. Look what's happening now. Price is starting to fail outside of that rising wedge right over in here. So if it starts to fail, now that's happening near a resistance area, then where do you look? Support levels. Look at the 9 EMA as support. Look at around 2750-ish range, which is right around the 20. So, right, these 9 and these 20 EMAs, 50 SMA, 200, very important support levels. So as price goes up and hits resistance, if it can't break resistance, what does it do? Goes back down and it looks like it might want to test support, or sometimes it trades sideways. So this is either going to pull back and go down to the 9 and potentially further, trade sideways, or it's going to go up, right? Do I know what it's going to do? Absolutely not. Nobody does. But that's why you need to learn patterns so you can trade in probabilities. The probabilities at this point is that price looks like it's starting to fall out of that rising wedge, and there's a good probability it could fall down to at least that 9 EMA, possibly further. Got to watch the candlesticks, right? Very important. So that is with futures, right? I didn't make a video yesterday night, but I was posting charts about Bitcoin, and I was telling you guys, like I've been telling you guys for months, be careful, right? So look at this chart of Bitcoin, right? What do you see here? What is this big pattern? If you're new, this big pattern is a very, very important pattern. It's telling you a very important story. So we can go right over to our courses and see, that looks like it's a descending triangle. Let's go take a look. Right back over here. What is it? Lower highs being formed. Price is near a base. That's a descending triangle. A descending triangle is a bearish pattern, right? So in a descending triangle, you have to be very careful going bullish on something in a descending triangle because it's in a descending triangle. Higher lows are being formed. And as you can see at this point, price is in probably, it doesn't really get more dangerous than this for price. It's right near the absolute base of this descending triangle at 5970. If 5970 cracks, you'll see it went down to 6100 today. If 5970 cracks, it goes into no man's land at that point, right? Because if you're already at support, then that support would then become resistance. So it could completely tank, or it could fall, and then, you know, buyers can come back in again, and then what? Create possibly another lower high, so it can continue the descending triangle all the way down. But, you know, at this point, you know, if you want to break this pattern, price needs to break out of this descending triangle, right? Just to show you guys over here in the futures, futures was in kind of a descending triangle right over here. See the lower highs being formed down over here, and you can see kind of the base that was formed here. So you can kind of see this was a kind of a descending triangle right over here. I'm going to remove this line so it's not so confusing. So if you look at these two red lines going across like this, price was basically in a descending triangle, right? You can see a base down here, and then price went and it's broke out of the descending triangle. So broke angular resistance, traded sideways. Now it's moving up. Now you can call it, you know, it's kind of a weird looking pattern here. You know, this kind of pattern right here, you might say it's a cup. Maybe it's forming a bigger cup pattern. It's a little bit sloppy, right? Double bottom or maybe even a triple bottom. But bottom line, you can see resistance up in here, right around that 2808. So you want to see it clear this 2808-ish area and continue up, right? It's all about patterns, guys. Support, resistance, and patterns. You have to know patterns to trade. I say it over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm not going to stop saying it because it is everything. Do not listen to the pumpers that say, we see them, we're constantly aware of them, we see comments, we see people sometimes that sneak through in the group that, again, they blame the news, they blame the government, they blame and blame and blame and blame and blame, and they don't want to take the responsibility for realizing, again, I have no clue what Bitcoin's going to do in the future, but, you know, you're basically ending up blaming everybody from the beginning. You can't blame the news a couple days ago when it's also been happening since the beginning of the year. So every time a news event happens that's negative, everybody blames the news or the government or something like that. But this has been going on for, I mean, since everybody started giving their life savings all the way down. So until this pattern starts breaking, stop blaming the news, right? You got to look at support and resistance levels, and this is just, it's a terrible looking pattern. It doesn't get much worse than this. And if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you better hope that the buyers come back in over here and prop this thing out of that descending triangle, and it's got a big hurdle to overcome. It's got to overcome about this $11,000 level for this potential to reverse it. So can the buyers come back in? Sure. Maybe they prop it up over here, and then you're extending out the line again in the descending triangle. You have to be able to draw support and resistance, because support and resistance is absolutely everything when trading. So that being said, let's go back over here to the futures, and you're going to see it might be taking on a bearish. It's looking bearish at the moment, and it's failing right over in here. So it might be failing outside of that rising wedge. Does that mean the stock market's going to crash? No, it doesn't mean the stock market's going to crash. It means it's doing its thing. It's doing pattern support and resistance. So the whole thing at this point, guys, is we are going to see on the nightly scan if there's going to be more bullish plays or more bearish plays for tomorrow. We might take a combination of both. We'll have to see and let the scanners show us. Sometimes when you get this indecision mode up in here like this, many of times it affects plays on the watch list at night. You'll see earlier today, again, the watch list was kind of crappy for today because, again, there was a doji yesterday. You know, a few went off, a two didn't. But if you're watching my live stream this morning, there wasn't really a lot good to look at. It was a grind everywhere. So it was a grind not only on our watch list, it was also a grind with trade ideas as well. So let's try and see, or let's look and see if there's anything good to look at for tomorrow. Now, again, there's several different ways to do this. You can look for stocks that are going to move up and hold their highs. You can look at stocks that are holding their lows for failure. Or, you know, again, you can put stocks on a watch list that can go either way. And if they start to sell off, you could look for dip buying opportunities as well. That's why we're trying to show you, like I've been trying to show you this past, week or so on my live streams. I'm trying to show you a lot more patterns. I'm trying to slow down trading for you guys. The way I'm showing you trading on that 5-minute chart, letting the patterns form in the 1-minute entries, I'm showing you the safest possible ways to trade. You can day trade that way, and that's how you would also swing trade too, right? When you see a pattern on a bigger pattern on a chart, what you're going to do is look for, a stock to possibly break out or break down for, from a certain support or resistance level, right? If you're going to be bullish, you're looking for a breakout. And then you want to drill down and go to, let's say, a 5-minute chart, look at the patterns, and then you want to look 1 minute. I'd put a 1 minute over here and look for the entries, right? So that's how you do really with trading just in general. You want to just find a good breakout area, zoom in on an intraday time frame, a good 5-minute chart. You want to find a nice little pattern, a nice pattern there, and then get your best possible entry on a 1 minute, and then decide if you're going to exit on a 1 minute, a 5-minute, an hourly, or a daily chart. Again, you have to determine your profit levels. So, all right. So is it a good idea to move money from altcoin to USDT Tether? I have no clue. I'm not in that sector. I apologize. I'm not following that sector. So maybe someone can help out there. And Dave said, Dave, that's a funny comment. I like that. So yeah, today would have been a great day to sit on your hands. When again, guys, you don't trade every day. You want to do what? Trade the best setups. When I was saying earlier this morning, if you're new and you want to day trade, don't take all your money and go to a small brokerage account so you can get unlimited day trades if you don't even know how to make one successful day trade or three, right? Take your 3 a week and practice using small shares with real money after you use a virtual account and are successful. When you move from a virtual account to a paid account, practice with small shares and practice making your 3 successful trades in a week, right? Don't try to go unlimited if you can't make 3 successful. And if you're saying, well, that's only 3, I don't get many to trade. Well, listen, if you trade the best setups, you don't need to make several trades a day. You can get away with making 3 in a week if you trade only the best setups. And that might mean, again, days that you're not, making trades at all. You might go 3 or 4 days and not make any trades and make 1 in a day, or you might trade that same 1 3 times in and out. If you trade the best setups, you don't need unlimited trades. You want to use the unlimited trades once you know how to trade. And you're not going to know how to trade until you're patient and know how to trade these patterns. All right, so I always end up rambling, and I try to help you guys, right? I'm trying to teach you guys, because this is the stuff that it's not being taught out there, guys, unless you give lots of your money, right? Maybe we should start charging thousands of dollars for coaching, right? That might be good, right? Maybe not tell you guys as much, have you guys email us saying you're confused and say, sure, feel free. We'll love to help you out. We'll charge you thousands for coaching. I mean, we could do that if you'd like, right? Lots of other people do that. But again, just gave 15 minutes giving you guys some gold here on very important things to really understand and know in trading. All right, so KPAY. So with this one, let's see. You want to see it get above that 130-ish area. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. Do I like it? It's right at resistance, pulling back. It is holding its highs. Or is that about that 123-ish area? So maybe I'll put that one on for, see if it can get above that. What's that 130 area? If it can get above, I don't like that pattern. I'm not going to put it on. I just don't like it. It's got to get above the 200 SMA. It's overextended, and there's that resistance right around that 129. On a day, it looks like it might be bearish tomorrow, so I don't know if I like that. Choof. Choof sounds like somebody sneezed, right? A choof. All right, so with choof, we will look here. And wow, look at that, huh? 107 resistance on the weekly. See if it can, big cup handle. Now you're getting near the top of that handle again. Resistance needs to get above 107. So we'll put it on for potential continuation. Again, it's overextended. This is not something I'd say, hey, go in and swing trade it. You would see, if 107 can hold and it, see if it can move up. And you can scalp it, right? It's a big, massive cup and handle. This one's crazy. So, choof. Massive cup and handle on a monthly chart, even monthly. Weekly and monthly. Weekly and monthly. See if price can break out over 107. All right, so choof. I just like saying that. CHOOF. Choof. God bless you. Thank you. All right, looking for a bottom on. Would you suggest waiting on the possible Time Warner deal? Hello, trading family. Hey guys, Dan is in the group. Waiting for a bottom on T. News is very careful. You got to be careful with news. Yeah, look at that. Just kind of took a bottom out right over here. Kind of a cup handle. You can see a bottom down here at that 31.21. It's holding its lows. It could fall. You got to, wait and see tomorrow. This is a big gap and drop down. Got to see what happens tomorrow. It's got room to fall. So I'd look for, if you were to go long on that, I'd wait for, some candlesticks to show a potential reversal. Right now it's showing timber, but got to wait and see what's going to happen. ENPH. So all this talk last night, right? All this talk. Why didn't you put it on your watch list? And what is it doing? Nothing. Popped up. Trade ideas. or you know, trade ideas pre-market, largest mover of the day, and it's done nothing today but trade sideways. Right? So just because something's on there, again, there'll be times I might put some, you know, something might be the highest mover of the day, but it doesn't mean I'm going to put it on the watch list the next day. I'm trying to show you guys patterns and teach you guys patterns. Very, very important. Rowan saying Mac moved today on no news. Let's take a look. Excuse me. Looks like there was some, let's see, spike. Yeah, looks like you're right, huh? Look at that. Pumped up, dump, pumped, dumped. So that's another thing I'm going to tell you guys or talk to you guys about, right? Halts. Very, very important, right? If you want to get in the arena, yeah, I got triggered. I always get triggered by something teaching you guys. So halts. If you want to trade the pump and dumps, you want to trade the low float movers with news, you also have to be very well aware of halts. So do you want to make those $1 moves that pump up, right? Do you want to catch this up really quick? Absolutely. Who doesn't, right? But you have to have some serious gall holding throughout all this, right? You're looking at, what is this, $10 down to $8.61. Looks bigger than it is, but it's still a pretty good move, $1.20. So you want to, I mean, everybody wants to trade these. Who doesn't want to trade this and hold this full move? You're never going to have the guts to hold this thing the whole time. Never. If you're up, you know, $1, you're not going to take the profits. If you're up 80 cents in the middle of a candlestick, you're not going to take the profits. Come on, of course you are, right? So the thing I want to tell you guys about, you have to be careful of, it's nice when these go up. It's ugly when they come down. So, you know, when that happens, you know, many of these smaller cap stocks, you know, below $10, you know, near, you know, $1, $3, $5, sometimes, again, if you want to get in that arena, you also have to be very, very well aware when you're trading those. You can get caught in halts. Now, halts can happen intraday and turn back on, and then you can, you know, get in and out of that position. Again, can go up and really come down quickly. But many of times these will halt and then get SEC investigations. Now what do? What happens if you bought 1,000 shares of Mac and it goes up, and now you're up, and that starts coming back down and you can't get out of that position? Now you have 10 grand caught up in a Mac as it's falling timber, and then you have an SEC investigation. You have $10,000 tied up in your account and you can't access your funds. What if you had $25,000 in an account and then $10,000 gets caught up in an SEC investigation halt, and now you're left with 15 grand and you're below the 15, you know, you're below the PDT rule? What do? Right? Not saying it's going to happen with this, but you're, again, when you go into the arena of the pump and dumps, you also have to be aware of, yes, do you want to make these mega profits? Yeah, of course you do. But you have to be well aware of the risk. And that's why you need to know how to be able to trade them. If you're a newbie and you're going to be naive enough to think you're going to hold through this all the time and hold through these profits, you're kidding yourself. You're never going to be able to do it. You might get lucky once in a blue moon, but you can't do this all the time. Your emotions will lose it. You'll freak out. So you can make tons of money trading these. You could also blow up your account trading these. So that's why we try to teach you guys by slowing it down, you know, looking at the patterns on a 5-minute, see what's happening, and then, you know, get your entry in a 1 minute. But if you just blindly chase these and you don't know what you're doing, you're also put yourself at risk. So ideally, you want to find a good, you know, a good daily setup. You know, so looking for a breakout on a daily and then zooming in and finding a 5-minute setup. Again, you would have, if you missed this 5-minute candle, you know, well, you were kind of screwed. You weren't going to get anything. This is really kind of a garbage chart. All right. So just trying to show you guys this stuff. Again, this is, you know, you can make tons of money trading these pumps and then dumps. And that's why we have our watch list. So again, it's probably good. You know, we like to suggest use our watch list at night in conjunction with trade ideas. Find the best setups, You know, look for a daily breakout or something that's near a gap. Then look at a 5-minute chart, and then look at your entries and exit based on that 1 minute. And see, you know, sometimes you'll get better setups on a 5-minute with our daily watch list, and sometimes you'll get them better with trade ideas at night. All right. So I have charts up with both, and then I kind of just zoom through and I just see, okay, where's the best 5-minute setup? If I miss it right here, if I'm a 5-minute pattern trader, I'm missing this entire move. I would have missed this entire move, right? So I would have never gotten an entry on the 5-minute. But what also would happen to me is I would never get caught up in this drop. So I'd miss this big pump, but I would also not risk blowing up my account. So just be aware of these. You can trade these. This is where you'd have to then zoom in, go to like a 1-minute chart and see where would you had a chance. You would have had to have some serious cojones to take this on a 1-minute because it's already starting off wicked overextended. So do you risk getting in at the break of this 1-minute candle, 927 down to 860? That's terrible risk management. It's terrible. You're going to blow up your account if that goes against you. So you could trade this, but you're trading it super overextended, not close to the moving average lines, and you had about 2 to 3 minutes before it completely collapses on you. So this is what you have to be aware of. You can make lots of money on these, but when you're trading them, make sure you're well aware of the risk and follow Dan's momentum trading strategies video that he did. And it's up under members only here when you log in under the Ride the 9 strategy. You buy close to the 9 EMA. You don't buy flagpoles. You buy the flags that are near moving average lines. You don't buy huge flagpoles, or else you're going to blow up your account. Sure, you might get lucky on here, but many other times this will go up and pump right back down. Happens over and over and over again. All right. Let's see what else we got here. So that was Choof. Choof was on there. Let's take a look at SPI. Yeah, nope, don't like it. So Galt, this is one where I would say, okay, overextended, broke out of a kind of an inverse head and shoulder just pattern, left shoulder head, kind of a right shoulder, broke out, overextended on the daily, right near $8, possibly a bearish day coming up tomorrow. So this is one you'd want to start looking up and say, sure, this might pop up over $8, but if it does, you know, if it comes down below $8, this would be a potential good short since it's being overextended. It can go up a couple days or so. So at this point, let me take a look at it on the hourly. I mean, it's so overextended. It can go and break out over $8. Let me take a look at the weekly. Again, so overextended. You can't short it with Thinkorswim. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, I mean, this one I would just really look for. I would take it as a short. If you can find a broker, you know, Interactive Brokers are another one that you can take a short on. It's one to keep an eye on. So I'm going to put at or below 782. So this might break out over $8 and then come back down and fail $8, and then it could short all the way. You can have a nice short down right down to about 677. Potential. Again, potential short down. Doesn't mean it's going to fall all the way back down there, but it has the potential to. And being aware that tomorrow, you know, might be a bearish day with the price failing the rising wedge. So at or below, let's see, 782. Price over extended, possible short down towards 670s if $8 fails. So now, guys, we're starting to look at potential, you know, areas of shorting, right? Market's been going up for a little bit. Now you might have to take the other side of things. If it starts to fail, if you can't find a broker where you can short, then you can look for potential dip buys, right? So this might fail $8. Maybe it pulls back and finds a base, and then you can find a potential dip buy, right? So Where is this one? At or below. So that's galt. I would take more of the opposite side. Now, if it breaks $8 and holds, then you might, you know, I'll just put, could still go above 8, but be careful. So again, this can still pop up over $8, even though it's overextended. Just be careful. If it fails $8, this is a nice short. So this is something, if you have a broker where you can find shares to short, you have a big reward area. So the risk is great, or it's you can have really great risk, right? You can see $8, really good area, whole dollar amount. It already pulled back around $8. If it goes back up over 8 and then fails 8, then you could take a potential short if the intraday chart shows it, take a short right below $8 or right near it, and then use $8 or close above $8 as your stop. So you see how you can use a very tight stop up here, and you have a lot of potential reward. So the risk is lower at that $8 if you get the right setup, using a close above that as your stop. The reward is potentially huge, where, you know, it can go right down to this 670s area or further, right? All right, so galt. And someone's asking about TNDM. My thoughts are this chart is ugly. That's my thoughts. I don't know nothing about it. I just wouldn't even look at this chart. It's terrible. Let's see. SEII. So let's take a look at that. Clear the charts. And look at that. What is that chart, that pattern that you see today? Major pump. Major dump. 5-minute setup. You would have never been able to trade this in a 5-minute. You would have to have traded it on a 1-minute. What is this pattern here? Go over to our course and you will see that pattern is, voila, a long-legged doji. Massive indecision between the bulls and the bears. These candles are incredibly difficult to trade, hence why you see a very choppy looking pattern over here. So this is one you'd have to take massive risk on a 1-minute if the setup was good. On a 5-minute, you're just going to look at this today and be like, oh, well, I missed that move, you know, and then you go about your day. You can't go over and say, let me look at this and be like, oh man, darn it, I missed a trade, beat yourself up. This is a terrible day. I could have made so much money here. If you're a pattern trader, you're going to say, I'm looking at that. I'm a pattern trader. I'm not going to break my rules. So this is not something I would have traded. So I'm going to look away. If you're a 1-minute trader, you could have maybe looked at a break above the pre-market high. You know, if you looked at the 1-minute, you would have seen over here, this was a mess. It was a complete and utter mess. I personally, even on a 1-minute, wouldn't have traded this thing. Maybe here, but even over here, you're still trapped by all these wicks. You don't know, you know, taking a trade over in here, how high this, you don't know that this is going to absolutely go like this. It still has to break the high, and you still have a, what is that, a 430 down to 418. It's not bad. You maybe said, hey, I might take a 12-cent risk on this candle for the potential. Now, so again, we're teaching you guys 12 risk rewards. So now you got to say, if you were to risk to getting above this candle, 430 down to 418, that's a 12-cent candle. So you're risking 12 cents for the ability or the potential to make what? High of day is 450. Right, so you have the potential of this going to high a day. You have no clue if this is going to break because you don't know what's going over here. So you're risking 12 cents for the ability to make 430 up to 50, 450, 20 cents. Guys, this is why it's so important. You have to have at least a 2-to-1 profit-loss ratio. So if you're risking 12 cents, you have to have the ability or the potential to make at minimum, you know, what is it, 24? What is it, 2-to-1? Yeah, 24. Well, right here, you only have the ability from 430 up to 450 to make 20. So it's a little bit less, right? It's not a 2-to-1 ratio. You have the ability to make 20 potential, not 24. It's a risk. Are you willing to risk 12 cents to make 20? It's not a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio. You look, and then you look at all of this choppiness. Are you going to risk on that? So yeah, great. This is a great mover. Pumped up, right? But what's your risk reward? Where are the patterns? What are you looking at? And this is dangerous. Could you get lucky here? Sure, but this is not good trading. This is a garbage chart. It's completely messy, and more likely than not, you're going to get burned more going long on something like this than you are going short. Or, you might get lucky on a trade, but more likely than not, you're going to get trapped all in here, right? Rocky, you guys are awesome. Please tell me what you think about Tesla going up or down. Help. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I'll take a look at Tesla. And Tesla, I mean, so I look at this chart and I'm like, this chart is not good. It could go either way, right? You can see here, kind of it was a descending triangle-ish or a descending wedge kind of area. What did price do? It broke out of angular resistance. So it broke out. It came back and now it retested. Look at these candles. They're a mess. I don't know. I mean, first of all, none of us know what the stock market, what a stock's going to do. So now you have to trade improbables and you're like, well, what is this going to do? I have a high wave candle. I kind of have a hammer here. But this could be it's a hanging man candle up above a previous resistance area, retesting with a market looking like it might come back down. I mean, this would scare the heck out of me. I don't know. It could go up or down. I don't like it. So me personally, I wouldn't even look at this chart. I'd stay far away, but is it going to go up or down? You got to watch this area here, 341. I'm not going to predict it. I would watch tomorrow and see, well, if it starts failing these areas, I'd be nervous. Look at how overextended it is on the daily. But if it's going to go up, what does it do? It has to go and break above 355. So now support, resistance, price is right in here after it broke out angular resistance. It would make me nervous, that's for sure. All right, next up. I have not moved along much, and I've already talked a lot. KNDI. All right, so possible. Let's take a look here. So price is maybe starting to get above that 50 SMA. You can see probably right around 550 you're going to have some resistance. It's at 520 now. Let's take a look at an hourly chart. It's getting right near that 200 SMA with a potentially bearish day tomorrow. So I don't know if I would look at that one. That'd make me nervous. Corv. Well, this is one that doesn't have much of a history. I look at this after 3 green days as a potential short, but this is like, I don't know if it's a newer stock or what, so I just skip past that. RRTS. So RRTS might have some room to move. Let's say there's probably some resistance right around that 350-ish area right over here. I would say $3 as well, right over in here. So there's some room for this to potentially move up to maybe $3. Let's take a look at the hourly again. Hourly is above the moving average line. So this one is one to keep an eye on. So, Where is this? All right. So watch for potential continuation with resistance around $3. So I want to show you guys several things on this, right? So I go on, when you see on my charts over here, I go from the daily to the hourly to map out support and resistance. And then when trading, I look at a 5-minute for a good setup and then a 1-minute for entry, right? Patterns. I look at this over here and you can say, okay, price on the hourly is above these moving average lines. It's above a $0.50 amount. It's got some room to run up to $3. You can see on the daily chart, a 9, the moving average lines are crossing. So there's some room. There's room for this thing to move. Now, the other thing you got to remember, it's not very high float either. So what's, if you're looking to, make a 10, 15, 20 cent profit each day, you start to look at, and you want to do it the safest way, you look at these ones that say, okay, well, above a $0.50 amount, kind of a medium range float, above the moving average lines on both the hourly and the daily, room to run to a whole dollar amount. This is one that might move 30 or 40 cents in a day, and you might be able to scalp 10 or 15 or 20 cents of that, slowly grinding without it pumping and dumping. Again, it could dump, but again, you see these ones, they're less likely. Again, if it could get news tomorrow, if once it hits trade ideas, then it's a matter of timing, right? It's going to be a matter of when it pumps or when it dumps. But if it's not hitting trade ideas, it's under the radar on our watch list, chances are this thing will move up or down or kind of slowly grind. You might have a good chance it's not going to necessarily pump or dump against you, right? Even though it's a smaller float stock, once it hits the scanners, then it's like game on, right? It's garbage looking chart, nothing looking great, but it might sneak through and have a chance to make 30 or 40 or cents on it on a slow grind, whereas the moment this thing hits trade ideas, it's over. I mean, it's just going to be it's going to be so hard to trade a pattern on it, right? Because everybody on the sun goes and hits it. So that's my psychology when I'm looking and doing these watch lists for you guys, is our watch list fly under the radar, right? Unless they hit trade ideas pre-market and they're catching volume. The moment our watch list hits trade ideas pre-market, then you're going to say, okay, they're really not flying under the radar. But you're welcome, Rocky. But as everything's going crazy on trade ideas, you can go under the radar with our watch list, scalp your 10, 15, 20 cents like clockwork. Our watch lists go up every day. There's always at minimum a 10-cent mover. Go scalp your 10 cents where everybody's distracted on trade ideas. Let them fight the battle, and then let the pattern form on trade ideas on a 5-minute. So when everybody stops quitting and fighting the battle, then they see a breakout on our watch list. Then our watch list hit trade ideas. Everybody's distracted and go back and watch the 5-minute on a previous, watch the 5-minute one run from earlier on a trade ideas, when then you can get a better pattern, right? That's why we like to use trade ideas in conjunction with our watch list. It's nice to have both, if that makes sense to you guys. All right, so Charlie says, XLF reversed down. Will it rebound and move back up? So guys, we always want to be very careful. We're trying to teach you guys, we want to be very clear. Nobody on this planet knows what a stock is going to do. We never know if it's going to go up. We never know if it's going to go down. We have to look at patterns, and those patterns form probabilities, and we have to trade on probabilities. So when you ask, be careful asking, will it go up or will it go down? Because no one knows. You have to find the patterns to be able to trade in probabilities. In XLF right now, the chart, if I connect these lines right down over in here, you're going to see right over here. Whereas price is right smack in the middle of a symmetrical triangle, which is what? Indecision. Right in the middle of a triangle is choppiness. So the answer to your question would be, who the heck knows? You got to see these support and resistance lines. I personally do not like trading symmetrical triangles. I don't like them. And the patterns in the center of here are not looking so hot at the moment. So at this point, resistance is right up at the top of that triangle and support's right down over here. When it's trading in the middle, very, very difficult. Robert says, found the ultimate support and resistance charts for us newbies. PER, 5-day, 5-minute, like a Venetian blind. Let's take a look. Man, guys, that's hilarious. Love it, Robert. Classic. So this chart, this is complete and utter garbage, but you can see over here a cup and a handle. So you got to look at this absolute and complete and utter garbage, and then you can say, okay, let's find the patterns. Are there any? Well, yeah, there is a, the top of a cup here, but look, it's like what? It's 5 to 10 cents away. This is a 5-cent spread stock. That's why it trades like this. So it trades in 5-cent movers, and this is where it's like trapping all you newbies. So you have some stock pumping service out there that's telling you to buy that's going to be the best thing under the sun, and then you're going to deal with these 5-cent, like, you're going to be trapped in a stock like this, and you're going to be like, oh my God, this is crazy. That's how they get you. Garbage. Drink. Barry drinks every time I say garbage. That is garbage. Dan suggested that I use, maybe not the word garbage, but I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to stop using garbage. I have to use garbage. All right, so MRMD, look at this thing flying, super overextended, had a bull flag, breakout. Now this is where it kind of gets in no man's land. Let's take a look on the weekly, monthly. I mean, it's at all-time highs. This thing, you could see some support right at that 280 resistance. You want to see it get above that 305. You had a bull flag, it broke out. Again, it's so difficult to trade these right now with this market potentially wanting to pull back a little bit. You'd want to see this one continue over 305. But on days like today, the watch lists, they're just, just difficult to make when the market could go either way. And I have no, again, look at the monthly chart. I have no resistance level, so there's no area. This can go completely up, but there's no area to pick for resistance. So while I like that it could potentially go up further, it's not giving me an area of potential resistance above. This is a nice bull flag break, so that's where I'm not going to put it on. Kayla, CALA, no. Mac, nope. There's your FU middle finger right here. Let's do this. Here you go. FU pattern, middle finger. Stick your middle finger right up in there and put your knuckles underneath there and have it say FU, way up, right down. Head and shoulders / FU pattern, big middle finger here. Put your knuckles under here, put your hand to the screen, and that's your FU pattern. Because FU means, hey newbies, you buy up here, you're getting you know what. Right here. That's the FU pattern, big middle finger. Saying we're taking your money and you're going to cry all the way down. CRMD. Someone said DSLV. DSLV. Let's see. DeAndre, DSLV looks great. DeAndre, are you joking or are you being serious? If DeAndre is joking, that's a funny joke. If he's serious, no comment. But that's a garbage chart. That might be uglier than the other one. Kayla, let's see. Here we go. SFS. Ugh. This is another one of those 5-cent spread stocks. All those stupid looking wicks and candles. Viewpoint on DSLV. Like, DeAndre, are you being serious on DSLV? Again, I go to DSLV. I mean, that's an off. If you want my serious views on DSLV, I don't know if I've seen more gaps on a chart in my entire life, up and down. With this thing is just a complete and utter mess. Right? Do this on a chart. You got trading in a complete sideways channel with massive gaps all over the place. It's I would never look at a chart like that. So could it go up? Could it go down? Yes, it could do either. It's tough. The patterns is awful on it. SHLD. Nope. MVIS. Nope. As you can see, guys, not much looking good right now. Possibly. Yeah, sorry, DeAndre. That chart, I don't even know how to... I'm trying to be nice looking at it. It doesn't get much worse looking at that chart, to be honest with you. Very ugly looking chart. So as you can see here, so price right here, right up here, you have a big cup. Then you have what? A handle right back over here. Cup, handle, broke out of the handle. It's at the top of the cup. Now you got to start extending the cup top higher. So now let's see if it can get above that 340 to 370 range. So if it can get above the handle or the cup, top of the cup, see if it can move 340 to 370. So possible continuation. Again, don't love these because going back, I'll show you guys in a moment, at or above cup and handle on daily watch. If continuation with resistance around 340 and 370-ish. These are the watch lists that just are not fun to make. They're just a grind. They don't look like much. They're kind of just like, ugh, we're back doing it this again, right? They're very not really exciting. They can go either way because, again, right, going back to the futures, ES right over here, futures on the daily is starting to fail a rising wedge, but it could pop back up. It's right at resistance, right caught between support and resistance. That indecision mode translates to when you're making your watch list, and hence why you want to have, you know, and why we love trade ideas, because this watch list might be just garbage tomorrow and just kind of choppy, and then you might need a trade ideas to find a potential play, right? Or there could be a day like today where it was a grind this morning. It was just not much on trade ideas and on our watch list, which again means don't trade. If there's not a trade, don't trade. So right here, price is at resistance right around that 350s range. Some resistance up in these areas. Several green days. This is one to potentially watch for, you know, might be able to scalp it short a little bit down to the 320s range if 350s rejects, but kind of has maybe an ascending triangle. Again, this one could go either way at this point. You want to see it get above that 350-ish marker. So it kind of has an ascending triangle. See if it can break out above that 355 area. Sorry, DeAndre. I'd like to give you a better... I wasn't trying to poo-poo it. When I see a chart, I don't really have tact. I just kind of say what I say. So if something looks like garbage, I say it's garbage, you know. So I could say, well, that is not a very nice looking chart. I'd be very careful, and you know, I look at it and it's garbage, you know. Could it go and go up or down? For sure, but looked awful. SRRA. So again, it's these ones that, like, these are where it gets difficult, right? Price is overextended, several green days. Could continue moving up, but it could easily dump as well. Market might be failing a rising wedge. So these are ones that could go either way, right? It gets tricky in these days when it gets indecision. So that's why, you know, 2 or 3 days a week might be really good to trade, and you might have a couple days that are not really good. You know, when the market goes up, it'll come back down. When the market goes down, it'll come back up. So that's why you have to adjust, either adjust your strategies, learn how to short, and when the market starts to turn, or, learn how to dip buy. If you don't want to short and you don't want to learn how to dip buy, then wait for the market to sell off for a few days. And then when it gets a good green day here and there, then you take and find a good setup to go long again, right? If you're trying to trade all the time being long when market starts going down or trading sideways, it gets very difficult. All right, so SRRA, price over extended. See if it can break above 3.55 and continue. I hear what sounds like to be a FedEx or UPS truck, and if that's the case, I might have to sign for my new computer today. So I might have to put you guys on pause. With resistance and continue. With resistance just below $4. Sorry guys, I'm distracted because I'm trying to hear if that's the UPS or the FedEx person. Excuse me. SRRA. Again, guys, as I'm making this watch list, I don't really love this one's just it's a grind. Bo, hey, I'm new to trade ideas. Can you please help me where to find massive volume and low float strategy? Thanks in advance. Are you talking about Trade Ideas, the scanner? If so, if you are a member of ours and you have Trade Ideas, shoot us an email and we will send you our scans. If you're not a member but you've purchased Trade Ideas through us, then we'll send you our scans. If not, Trade Ideas, they have fantastic support and videos on how to set it up and how to get your scanner set up. They have fantastic support. They would love to help you, and they have some tutorial videos. If you're referring to just regular trading, you can see here, I just use shares on my Thinkorswim. That's like shares outstanding, which is basically low float. Anything under 20 million is low float. Under 10 million is really low float. And then 50 to 100 million is kind of medium. And then over 100 million is like high float. All right, so where's this one? So there's a gap right at the top of this gap, right around 330. So between 295 to 330, see if it can go and fill that gap. I think I hear him, UPS person. Give me a second, guys. I'll be back. All right, got my computer, I think. I think that's the computer tower, so that's a good thing. All right, so above to now. Price is in the gap. Watch if it moves to fill around 330-ish. RUBI. No problem. So this one, this is one to keep an eye on. See if it can break that 558 marker. So you can see a double bottom. If you can break above 558, then you can see resistance between 6 to 607. So you have a good potential 40 cents to move off of a pattern of a double bottom. These are the things I like to see. Patterns, breakout over a pattern, room to run. You know, it's a higher flow, it's a slower grind. There's a potential to make 40 cents on this with where you can see a good area of a stop right around that 560 if it goes against you. These are the things I like to see, right? This is one. You know, again, and then you can say, well, look at this as potentially as well. You have kind of a also double bottom getting near, you know, as part of an ascending triangle. You can see a potential bullish pattern within an overall potential bullish pattern. These are what I'm looking for, right? So double bottom on 1 hour. See if price breaks above 560-ish and resistance top of ascending triangle around $6. You guys see that? Double bottom on the hourly. Want to get above that 560-ish area. Resistance between 6 to 607, which is the top of the ascending triangle. Bullish pattern within an overall bullish pattern. Doesn't mean it's going to go and break out. No, this thing could trade sideways for a while and continue the ascending triangle pattern, or it may fail, right? Again, you got to look at the patterns and look at, you know, the probabilities and set your proper risk management. ARQL. All right, so if I'll be your membership and I have Trade Ideas subscription, you will send me your Trade Ideas layout. Yes. Shoot us an email right here. I'll give you our email. bbteam@bullishbears.com. I don't know why it posted weird. So yes, if you're are a member of ours or you purchase Trade Ideas through us, we will send you our scan settings. All right, HTBX. Guys, I am so behind today. I'm trying to teach you guys. I got so far behind. I can never seem to shut my mouth when I'm teaching. I don't like that one. Aha. This is kind of the stuff I'm looking at right here. Clearly defined top, 266. When I zoom in, I'll go to hourly, probably make it easier. Now, here we go. This. You can see an ascending triangle. Clearly defined resistance, 266. That's an area that you want to see it break out and hold. I have a pattern, higher lows, a top. That's the stuff I'm looking for. Be aware, again, it's overextended. Doesn't mean this thing can go forever. The problem, actually, no, this could have, so now it has previous history, right? So it's been higher than that before. I would look out for, you know, I'd put a line at $3, right? $3 is going to be psychological resistance. Right at the base, right over in here. Right over in here. So again, you can do this and say, well, what is this? 263. Ascending triangle, watch for breakout over 266 with resistance around $3. Again, also be aware, this is a higher, like a more of a medium float, right? So less of a pump and dump. Might be a grind. It might be a slow grind up. It might have 40 cents to move. You only might be able to make 10, 12, 15 cent profit out of it, right? Or it could just, you know, if it goes against you, you might have a smaller loss rather than it pumping and dumping, right? If you like the pump and dumps, trade the low floaters with news and do this, find the same ascending triangles and flag patterns. If you like the slower grinds, trade more of the medium ones. Again, a lower float, high risk, high reward. Medium and higher floats, you know, lower risk, lower reward. Again, all a matter of your preference. Thanks again, Bo says. Thanks again. We'll do it tonight. Been following you for a while. Love the way how you explain. Excited to learn from the Bullish Bears. Awesome, Bo. Thank you very much. Now my dilemma is, what the heck do I do for dinner? I've been having a problem. I tell you guys, right? I get hungry. I'm just not good with food, right? I think everybody joined the planet, right? Why everybody goes off and on diets and all that stuff. So I know I can never just like get rid of food. So I try to eat a little healthier during the week. I'm not a big fan of cooking. Then the problem is, just when I psychologically just buy a salad, and 20 minutes later I want to eat Doritos. So then I say to myself, let me eat some more carbs at dinner so I don't want to eat Doritos and cookies later. But then last night I get Chipotle and I get a burrito. And then like an hour later I'm eating Doritos. And I'm just like, the dilemmas. So now tonight I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner and I'm getting hungry. Pizza. Yeah, see that? Thank you. Thank you, Rowan. Is it Rowan or Roan? Rowan? I'm going to say Roan. Jojo says pizza. Yes, that I would just eat pizza every day. But guys, I'm on camera. Good news, I'm in a little thumbnail with you guys. So you're watching right now. I'm in a little thumbnail and you can only see me neckline up. So if I get a big gut, you're not going to necessarily really see it. But then if I start carrying the weight in my face, then I got to be careful, right? So, you know, I'm kind of a YouTube sensation now. So I got to be on the screen and looking good for you guys. I'm just kidding. I'm not a sensation, but it does keep me in check, right? If I'm talking to you guys every day and you're like, oh, this guy, he's getting kind of heavy right now. He must be eating a lot of pizza. Then I, you know, got a reputation to uphold, right? Oh, man, there's so many things I want to say right now. Maybe someday I can get really built, get some tattoos, do some Instagram photos, taking off my shirt, showing you guys, traveling the world. I could do that, you know? Right? Get my boatloads of cash, put it in front of you guys, my private jet. Gotta love it, guys. Guys, if we're ever that way, feel free to slap us. Call us out, right? I mean, do you care, right? Do you care if I'm in a private jet or if my shirt's off or I'm driving a Ferrari? Do you really care about that stuff? Does that matter? I mean, really? Does that really matter? We're starting to find we've always kind of known this, but like, we think most people care about like taking care of their families, getting some extra money for vacation, paying off their credit cards, right? I mean, of course you want to have $1 million in your brokerage account, but if you can make an extra 25 or 50 grand a year, you're probably going to be happy with it, right? If you gave me an extra 50 grand right now, I'd be happy, right? I'm not going to refuse that. If you want to give me $1 million, great. But 50 grand, that's great, right? Oh, yeah. So I finally made it through after rambling way too long through the daily watch list. Now we're going to look at the swing trade, and I have a feeling it's not going to look so hot. And Super G801. Thank you for the clean language. Other teachers out there seem to talk like they're still in high school, and it's not something I want to hear. And often my kids are hanging around when I've watched videos and streams. So thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I try. Sometimes I have a slip of the tongue, but if I do, I will try to remember that so I don't have to get your children picking up bad language. Dan has children too, so I have to be aware of Dan's children so I don't say naughty words. Because I don't want them saying Uncle Lucian said something naughty and then he has... While my biggest dilemma is wondering what to eat for dinner, Dan's got to cook dinner for his kids, clean the house, lots going on, right? Me, I got to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. First world problems. By the way, this is a garbage watch list. Difficult, right? Why is it so difficult? Because the market is in decision mode. So finding something bullish and something like this is going to be very difficult. I might have to do a bear scan. Let's see here. And these charts are garbage. Very, very garbage. We'll have to see if there's anything on the bearish side of things. Thanks, Ron. Love the down-to-earth realness. We try. Again, feel free and have the I would say the permission to slap us, but I don't want any children to hear that. So feel free to get upset with us and tell us we're being naughty if we don't act real. All right, so far my scans on the bullish side are looking very not so hot. Ugh. All right, so these are the days if you're bullish, might as well throw that out the toilet because it's not looking so hot. Now we'll try to look for a bearish scan and see if there's anything over on here. So now you can see stuff like this. So this, excuse me. So now you can start to see more of something. It's kind of failing moving average lines. Might have, man, that's a little bit, this is nuts. My goodness. Let's look at the hourly. You know, this has definitely got some room to fall. It's failing the moving average lines, getting really messy. Let's take a look at options chains. Well, there's some higher open interest, but I don't like the spreads. So I'm not going to look at that one. Because the majority of people don't have 160, the money to spend, buy shares of $166 stock. No. You can see here a head, a left shoulder, a right shoulder. This is one I would potentially look at, but then here's what I don't like. I don't like all those gaps. It can get really messy. Super J, just not real naughty, right? RRC for a momentum swing. RRC. Possible. Good eye. Good eye of a kind of an ascending triangle. Or actually, I think, was that on the one I was looking at earlier? I was wondering, this looks like I was looking at it. I think what potentially concerned me is that 1692 gap. I think I saw that earlier, but what I noticed was it's very close to the gap right now. So it's potential. I want to see, be careful if that gap fills. What's the link to join? Right over here. Right on our website, bullishbears.com/subscribe, or here you go. There we go. If you're not able to click that link, then just go to bullishbears.com, click subscribe, or the link is also below in the description. Fed decision, they raised rates today, right? I wasn't paying attention earlier. I was just, I saw some news that they did. And hence, obviously, you know, when you raise rates, many of times the market will pull back or potentially go down. So again, got to watch the charts. Determining your investment strategies. If you're day trading or swing trading, obviously, you know, day trading, you're going to go with the market up or down. You're going to trade it up or you're going to trade it down or you're going to dip buy. You're going to have a strategy. Swing trading, you have to be a little bit more careful of just buying straight calls or puts. You might want to look into spreads, stuff like that. So, time to drink. Is that what you said, Robert? Yeah. I mean, hey, they're raising the rates. Thanks, Rocky. Appreciate it. Love to have you. So that's why, again, that's what we tell people. Always look at charts, right? The charts build in many of times these, you know, these moves. You know, again, not any biasness towards, again, political views don't matter. Just look at the facts. Before this previous election, we had one rate hike and the market tanked. You know, since this past election, we've had, you know, several, and the market's going up and continues to go up. And, you know, does rate hikes affect things? Sure. But, you know, many of the times, those that is factored in. And hence why you can see, you know, probably lots of this, right? You know, ups and downs through triangles. But, you know, the market hasn't crashed, you know, going back to the election, which was, what was it, back over, I don't even know when the heck, the election was back over here in 2016, right? So back here in November 2016, right back over in here, let's draw your trend line. You can see since the election, right back over here, pretty much what has the market done? It's gone up, right? So again, the market can't go up forever. It has to pull back, it has to correct, it has to create and do patterns. But I mean, when this thing gets skyrocket high, just because it falls back doesn't mean there's a market crash, right? It means when the market gets super overextended, people want to take their profits, right? Can't go up forever. If it wants to continue up, it has to pull back. It has to go through a mess like this many times before it corrects and goes up. It doesn't just go up forever, right? Oh man, guys, I haven't gotten anything on this watch list. Ay. Hopefully you guys are finding this useful today because I keep talking to you guys. So OLN. And kind of some support around 29 bucks. Kind of failing. Let's see if there's any options chains. You know, again, not much to look at there. TMUS for a swing trade. Let's see. So this one's a bit difficult. It's rejecting over that 50 SMA right now, so it needs to get above that. Possible if it can get above that 50 SMA. All right, guys, keep throwing them out there. Keep throwing out some swing trades for me. Help get me through here. Let's get some. Let's get some on the watch list. All right, here in VKTX, bulls seem to be in the midst of bull flag breakouts on the daily charts. Possible swing trade opportunities? Question mark. Let's take a look. Maybe you guys will build my watch list tonight. So yeah, that broke out right here on here. It went up. Now it needs to pull back probably again a little bit as well, or could, right? You can see it broke out here, pulled back, continued. I'd watch for a potential pullback before it continues. So yeah. It's got some potential right now. It's been super overextended for a while. I don't know if I want to put it on the watch list. I try to give you guys one. I guess this does have some, here does have some options chains to it as well. So possibly, let's see what we got here. pull back. I would like to have caught it right over here. Now I'd want to see, you know, it might pull back to that 22.20-ish area. If it can hold, then it might continue if it can get above that 23.20 marker. So at this point, yeah, let's put it on here. Let's get something to look. Again, be very careful with this being overextended, but it seems like it's not having, you know, it's been moving. So let's see, 22.64. If pull back on bull flag holds, it may continue. So watch if it can continue over 23.20 area. So if it pulls back, watch if the 23.20 area will continue upwards. That's here, HEAR. Let's take a look at VKTX. VKTX. That's another one potentially. I don't like it as much. You had that bull pennant. It broke out. Now it's a bit choppier, so this would make me a little bit more nervous. SAMD. Let's see. SAMD. Oh, AMD. Let's take a look. AMD. Yeah, possible. It broke out of that ascending triangle. Now you want to see it pull back a little bit. So kind of maybe missed it. Want to watch a little bit of a pullback to continue. So I'd want to see it pull back a little bit and get an entry. I mean, this one has some room to fall. Let's take a look at. Not much open interest. Guys, this is a struggle. Struggle is real on these. Too many gaps. I don't like that. This is when I start to look in and zoom in on where it's starting to potentially fail the moving average lines. Has some room to fall. Right, where it's just starting to fall. It's got some room. Let's take a look at the hourly. It might be looking to fail. It's got some room to 97.66. Want to see if it's going to fail that 200 SMA. Let's take a look at open interest. It's got some open interest. Borderline on the spreads. This is one I'd put on as a watch. A little bit borderline on the spreads, but it's just starting to fail the moving average lines. Has some room to fail. If that right here, that 200 SMA fails. All right. So, excuse me here. THO. So let's do this. If 200 SMA fails on the 1 hour, it has a lot of room to fall. Price is failing moving average lines. Averages on daily. So again, this is a potential one here. If this 200 SMA can fall, this has definitely some room to fall. Spreads are a little bit borderline right now, but gotta watch and see tomorrow. You can see it's starting to potentially fail those moving average lines on the daily, so it's got some room. CCII, it's failing, got some room down to, let's see, the hourly. Propped up. don't like it. Let's see here, 23. Nah. Not loving these guys. Not loving them. These are one of these days you just tomorrow might be one of those ones that doesn't look so hot. Nope. So this one, possibly, you can see it's starting to fail the moving average lines. Has some room to fall down to potentially $74. Now we look at the hourly. Go in and you can see it's failing the moving average lines on the hourly as well. Right? It's got some room to fall to potentially $74. You have lots of open interest, and you have ideally less than a 15% bid-ask spread, and you can see many of these, even on the put side, pretty tight bid-ask spread. So that's something I would definitely look at. CELG. Taking more of the bearish side of things, potentially. Right? It's failing the moving average lines, failing them on the daily, room to fall. You know, so now you want to see these moving average lines separate and see if it falls potentially downwards. Again, it could prop back up. Got to watch and see. So 77.38. Price failing moving average lines on daily and 1 hour. Possible put down, put slash, or I'll just put with support around 74. CELG, THO. All right, there we go. Let's take a look and see if there's any more. Lucian, what kind of scanner you have with trade ideas created? Dan has several created with trade ideas. If you shoot us an email, there's a daily, and I believe he may have the swing trade set up as well. We have it mostly. We have several different screens within our trade ideas. Can you look at cores again? Tap from yesterday. Let's take a look. TAP. So TAP, yeah. Now you have this this doji right around the 50. So it propped up. It didn't get up at that 68.26. So this doji is showing you potential decision for a possible reversal. It's happened right at the 50. So this is a warning for a potential pulling back here. Again, so at this point, you have this support here at the $66, resistance around 68.26. This is a be careful warning candle. It could pull back. Doesn't mean it's going to crash or dump, but you know, if you get a candle close below that this area here, you got to be careful with it. So this is a potential reversal. It's a star pattern. When you see this, be aware of a potential reversal to the downside. Could still go up, but this is a warning sign. That's why, again, guys, when we put these stocks on the watch list, doesn't mean to take the trade. So, you know, you have to look at the intraday pattern and see, you know, if it's one to trade. This one right here, you can see there was right here, price kind of went down, went up, pulled back. Nice bull flag here. Could have gotten an entry from 66.033. And then you can see, you know, it could have potentially shook you out here. But if it didn't, right up over in here, once you started getting a candle close down over here, 66.33 to 66.07, 40-cent move, not much. But hey, you know, look up over here when it's overextended. You know, it's close, what, a 70 or 80-cent move. Take these profits, right? So with swing trading, this is where it's difficult. We can't tell you when to get out because you may decide to hold it long term, or you might want to sell and take your profits sooner, right? So it's a little trickier. That's why we give you support and resistance levels. When an area breaks, you have to then see, are you going to take these profits, or are you going to let it ride and see if it's eventually going to go up? Again, it's a little bit more difficult with swing trading. You can swing trade, you can day trade something that you would swing trade, or you can buy longer term options, you can buy spreads. There's so many different ways to swing trade. It's not just one rhyme or reason, right? It's a little bit, again, you're not going to be swing trading many of these small cap stocks because they get, you know, they're a little bit, because they're crap or garbage stocks, right? Got to be careful with my mouth. They're more garbage stocks, so you're going to be more day trading them, right? These bigger stocks, that's when you have to have a strategy on how you're going to trade them. Starbucks. Let's see what this one's doing. Not looking so hot. Ugh, messy. X gonna give it to you. Here we go. X was this trade idea. Trade ideas. I think I saw it on either Trade Ideas, Trade of the Week, or what you call it, Benzinga. I can't remember. Look at that. You got it. Pops up, pumps back down. I mean, you can see clearly an inverse head and shoulders. This one's just, you know, it's just, it has to break out, but it's one tricky, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to put it on. All right, so so when I put these on a swing trade watch list for you guys, what I'm trying to put on are ones that are going to look like they're going to move up or move down soon. Not like an X that at some point this thing may want to break out, but it's tough, right? If you get in, you know, it can just trap you for a while. That's why spreads would be good. You know, obviously you have to learn options, and there's so many different ways to trade options, but if you're just trying to pick a direction up or down, this could be tricky. So I'm looking for things that are like this, of what's going to go up or go down, or more likely to go up or down. And you can see this is now starting to fail the moving average lines, has some room to fall. You can then go to the hourly and say, okay, this has room to fall, could fall right down to that, you know, 105-ish area. So there's room to fall on it. And then I would go to open interest and volume, and I say, okay, well, that one has some decent, not great, decent, you know, 500 or so. There's some open interest over here. 20-cent spread, not the greatest. Oh, that's a 30-minute chart. Here we go. Hourly. Yeah, this could easily fall to 105, and if it does fail 5, it's got some room, right? So it's got some room to fall. Let's go to the daily. You could say that could, you know, if this 105 fails, there's room to fall. So this is what I'm trying to show you guys, is see ones that are likely to potentially move up or down with room to fall, with which have some open interest in volume. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for, CTXS. I'm going to take here off there for right now. I just don't want to have that. It's a little bit overextended for me right now. Not saying you can't trade it. I just, again, want to give you guys the best kind of options. Like right this, you can see it's starting to fail. It's got room to fall, right? So I like to see something where it's got room, right? I want to see it room to fall. Let's take a look at the hourly. It's got room. Let's take a look at, and you know, higher open interest, tighter bid ask spreads. Do I like this one? Then the only thing is, well, it's kind of a double pattern. Went out, and it's just, the chart's just a little bit kind of messy for me though. So now you have a cup and maybe a handle. So it could go, it's just a little too messy for me. I don't like it. Like this is the stuff I like more. Stuff that's starting to fall, you know, kind of a cup, handle broke out, starting to fall now, failing the moving average lines. But it has no options. Most people don't have the funds to trade a $34 stock. So if there's no options, I'm not really putting it on. This, like stuff like this, I like seeing this falling right here with room. But options chains don't look really so hot on this side. There was some over here on the call side, although might be starting to build a little bit. So let's take a look at the hourly. Now it's failing the 200 SMA. It's got room right here down. It's already failing the cup, top of that cup. This has room down to that 20-30 area. So this is one that, you know, one to keep an eye on. This could fall right down to that 50 SMA. So this is going to be my last one I put on there. So 2108, at or below. Price failing, moving average lines. Watch for support at 50 SMA around 2030. All right, so that's going to be that HST. So we're a little bit more bearish on the swing stocks. Again, with these ones, you can many times get some bullish plays on these daily stocks, but they might pop again. They're going to, like day trading, a lot of these smaller cap stocks, they pump and then they dump either way. So you could sometimes on, you know, possibly more bearish signals, go potentially a little bit bullish, get a scalp before it reverses, right? So in trade ideas tomorrow, you might see some moving, they pump up and dump within 5 or 10 minutes, right? That's why we're trying to show you guys these 5-minute patterns. So I'm going to keep these, let these patterns form. If there's a pattern, we'll look at it and potentially trade it. If there's not, you don't. These ones on the higher price stocks, they tend to move even more with the markets, and you can see the patterns start to break down when price starts to pull back and stuff on the chart, so you have to be more careful. So it's tougher to go more bullish when the market is doing this and saying, hey, warning, we're breaking down potentially out of a rising wedge. Be careful. So it's tougher to go bullish on some of the bigger ones when price might be starting to fail. All right, guys, I went way too long today, so I'll wrap it up. Again, we are only $10 a month. If you haven't joined us already, come and join us. Link is below, or head over to bullishbears.com. We have trade rooms, day trade room, swing trade room, futures room. We have thousands of dollars worth of courses, and we also have a Facebook community that you can come and join. Right over here, we have over 30,000 people right over in here. So great place to learn and get acquainted and ask questions and all that good stuff. So great community. So we have an entire community for you to learn. We keep all the spammers, the garbage trolls, and the garbage out. We have several trade rooms for you to learn and practice. We do trade alerts with watch lists each night. Again, you just can come in, take our watch lists and our alerts, practice in a virtual account like Thinkorswim and Interactive Brokers, practice with fake money and a virtual account. Treat your virtual account just like you would a real account. Do not trade it like play money. Treat it as it's your real brokerage account. Once you start mastering and getting a 60 to 65% win ratio and you're managing your risk and you're profitable over the course of a couple months or so, then scale your way up into your real account using small positions. If you trade 1,000 shares, start with 100. Get successful trading 100, then 250, then 500, then 750, then 1,000. If you don't have the patience to trade that way, you're going to blow up your account. So that's what we're trying to teach you guys not to do. All right, guys, so that's that. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Happy trading tomorrow. We will be in the trade room. So make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get the notification bell when we go live. So that's that, and happy trading, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Enjoy.